Welcome or welcome back to Space Cowboy for some more on Starfield. Today we're going to be talking about an interview that Todd Howard did back in November of 2022, and that was an interview on the Lex Friedman podcast. If you do want to see the full interview, it is in the description down below. Definitely worth checking out, it is a brilliant one. But there are a few things said in that interview, and it is such a shame that things didn't progress the way that they were originally planning to. Now, most of you may already know what this is. The hardcore difficulty systems. There was a lot of them back in Starfield's early development. Your ship could run out of fuel, you'd need the right suit to go to a certain planet, and unfortunately those systems didn't make it through because the team felt that they were hindering gameplay and slowing down that gameplay process. Check out this interview here. Check out a clip from the interview here.
I read that space travel is considered dangerous in this game. Can you explain?
That goes back to a tone thing. Right? When you actually play the game, because it's a game, like, we don't really kill you when you fly out in space. But it has a tone of there's some effort involved. And we've dialed it back as we've been making the game. Whereas we used to run out of fuel, you jump and get stranded, which on paper was it's a great moment when you get stranded and you have to press this beacon and you don't know who's going to come. Mm-hmm. Turns out that's not like, it just stops your game. We found you'd be playing the game and I ran out of fuel. Okay, I guess I'll just wander these planets trying to mine for fuel so I can get back to what I was doing. Mm-hmm. It just, it's a fun killer.
That's too realistic of a simulation of the human condition.
Now that bit just for the ships alone is absolutely awesome. I think that would be a brilliant idea and something that the team should definitely recommend bringing back in. I would love to see us running out of fuel halfway between different systems and having to find ways to get separate fuel pods. So maybe even going to different planets, harvesting items to rebuild and re-get the fuel that you originally had. Maybe something on your ship that could be used to break down elements to turn them into fuel. I think a hardcore mode would do the game exceptionally well and definitely enhance the replayability and bring a few players back. I would love to play through a hardcore mode. I think that would be absolutely outstanding. But then this part here about the beacons that he mentions. Having some form of beacon on your ship that would signal out a distress warning. That would be awesome. Yes, you may have to wait sort of like 5 in-game minutes because of the... Obviously you've got somebody to receive the beacon and then come and find your ship itself. But you don't know who you're going to get. You could end up with some nasty pirates looking to steal everything from you, which dock your ship, and then you have to fight your way through their ship to steal their resources. I think that would have been a great way to go with that. Or even those tempting to shoot you down, you would have to shoot back yourself. Obviously, that would maybe include some sort of way of leveling things out, because if you did have a Class C ship come on and you're only early game and you've accidentally run out of fuel because you didn't understand the systems, you would get absolutely wiped out. But there could be a way for these ships to dock you and then you have to take them on rather than just a ship coming up beside you and taking everything that you've got. Or that could be a way to actually penalise you for losing track of your fuel systems. Make it more hardcore, more realistic. If you did run out, there would be people out there that would be willing to take advantage of you stranded out in space. They could come aboard and steal everything from you, at which point you'd be able to fight back and potentially steal things from them, get the fuel that you needed to get your actual spaceship back up and running, or they could absolutely decimate you and you wake up maybe on a home planet with your ship, but you have lost a load of money and resources. Having that hardcore element would be absolutely insane. But then there was also this part here.
That's too realistic of a simulation of the human condition.
Yeah, no, the idea was, well, it's for, games do that. If you had like a hardcore, you're right, a hardcore survival mode, that's the kind of thing you would do. Maybe we'll do it in the future. But it's more of like a tone, how they build their ships. Do they have all the right things for safety? We do get into environmental things on the planets, in your spacesuit. Obviously, there are a lot of different spacesuits and buffs for the gases or the toxicity or the temperature on various planets.
Now that going over the actual details of your spacesuit and making sure you have the right spacesuit for certain planets would definitely help things. Because right now, in the game, you are tied back by your grav jump. You can't go too far without a decent grav jump on your ship. That's the only thing that stops you going to distant planets. But in some sort of hardcore level, hardcore mode, you would need the right suit to get to the right planet. So you would have to pull up alongside that planet and then scan it and see if you have the suit that would actually be viable to land on the planet's surface and then explore items on it. I think that would, yes, 100% slow down that flow of gameplay, but it would add that much more difficult element to it. You could, say for example, brave the planet's surface. If you've got a suit that is almost relatively good that could get you onto the planet and into a building, but then you'd have to rush around and you wouldn't be able to explore the planet's surface. I think having something along those lines would work really, really well and enhance the replayability for the players that want to play a hardcore mode. Currently, there isn't any type of hardcore mode. The difficulty can be changed, but it really only affects the loot that you get and the level and basically the amount of effort that the enemies are going to put into a fight, which is a shame. I feel like they've missed a massive trick there, and they're leaving out something like obviously the ship's fuel system and the spacesuit system has missed so many opportunities. Same as leaving out the actual star system where you build your own satellite, basically. Missing that out, all the parts are in the game files. So maybe these things are something that will be coming in the future. There's also many more elements that could be added to enhance that hardcore factor. As I mentioned, eating, drinking, you could need to sleep, energy could be a big problem. And then when it comes to your weaponry, you could have certain debuffs on certain planets. So certain weapons won't work in certain atmospheres. I think that would really make things difficult. Hopefully, adding a hardcore or survival element or difficulty to Starfield is something that they do in the future. There could possibly be mods out there. That is something I'm going to have a little bit of a look for and see if I can come up with anything along those lines and see if there are those hardcore elements to the game. But we don't know yet. At the moment, we still have no news on the Shattered Space DLC, and it is coming up to March already. So we were hoping we would see something, at least an announcement, or maybe even a hint of what is going on before maybe April time, but we'll have to wait and see for now. Hopefully within the next few weeks or months we do hear something about Shattered Space, and potentially these features coming back into the game. I would love a hardcore mode. It would really enhance that replayability, and yes, like I say, it would slow things down a little, but it would be in an enjoyable way. What do you guys think? Would you like to see a hardcore mode where fuel could be depleted easily? Maybe you need to eat and drink on certain times. Or going to certain planets can be a hindrance if you don't have the right suits. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. But now this is just a short video. We are going to wrap that one up there. If you are a fan of Starfield, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We upload at least once every week. We'll be back with some more Starfield very soon. For now, I've been Cowboy. You've been awesome. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you very soon with some more.